Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to Nearly Midnight Movie Chat. Tonight is the 3rd of June, 2021, and I'm just going to finally come out and say it. It's time that we kill binge culture because it is suffocating content. And in the age of content, it has to be king and it can't be suffocated. Regicide won't work here, and we're going to talk about that right now. Hey, what's going on, everyone? How you guys doing? Matt Jarbo here. It's obviously nearly midnight. It's almost 11 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I don't know where it is where you are, but you're here, and that's quite frankly all I care about. So it's been a bit of an interesting day, movie news wise. A lot going on in the entertainment sphere. Obviously, I'm kind of on this Netflix kick. I've been talking about it on Twitter today. I posted a thing about it on the community forum here on the channel, and surprisingly, a lot of you guys kind of responded to it in the way that I would expect you to, which is, yes, down with the binge, but we'll talk about that here in a little bit as we let people kind of roll on in. Tonight, we're going to be talking about also Wedding Crashers. But real quick here, Rational Skeptic kicking off the night, $2 super chat, thank you, sir, says, will Disney ever get the film rights back for Hulk? They're going to have to negotiate with Universal. Universal, it seems, I personally think Universal is holding on to that card. And I say that because they've got franchises, Jurassic World, Fast and Furious, the Despicable Me stuff. They've got a lot of things on that table. So they're fine with their franchises. They've already paid for the Hulk. They've done a couple movies. Obviously, it hasn't quite panned out the way that they wanted to, but they still are going to want to make some cash. So what do? They hold on. If at any point in time, any of their other franchises start to kind of dwindle, or if they need to ever really kind of make a quick bit of cash, they'll reach out to Kevin Feige. They'll broker a deal in order to bring Mark Ruffalo over. They'll do a joint production like they've done before. They'll distribute the movie because it's a proven cash cow to have Marvel Studios handle it and go from there. Now, I don't know if the Hulk rights will eventually revert back. That could happen as well. But I think Universal is smart to hold it to their chest as long as possible. And as soon as they need the money, they can then broker a deal and just make bank for quite literally doing very little. And if the popularity of She-Hulk is going to be as big as I think it's going to be, yeah, I think that deal might be coming sooner rather than later. Anyway, let's see here. HBarts, $5. Thank you so much. Says, the 4K shipped yesterday. Okay, so just as a quick FYI here, and this is not me playing favorites. This is literally just a nice gesture that HBarts did. He bought himself a copy of Zack Snyder's Justice League in 4K from the UK because it's not available here in the States yet. And then he also bought me a copy of Justice League in 4K that is currently being shipped, and apparently it's on its way to me from the merry old land of England, which is fantastic. Thank you. And then he says here, also Justice League 2 is happening. Zack bought Warner Brothers. Oh, is Enosh streaming tonight? Is that a thing? Is he streaming? Because that's where you would hear that kind of information. Anyway, thank you very, very much. Yes, I know when it comes to the film rights, yeah, they don't hold the rights. They just have the rights for distribution, which is why they won't make a solo movie. Yeah, that's basically what I was talking about, Roosevelt, is that they don't have the rights to the character entirely, but they have the film distribution rights, so they kind of hold all the cards. It's all about when Universal decides that they want to come out and like make money on that deal. And I think She-Hulk is going to kind of be the key to that's what I'm talking about. So there we go. All right. So, okay. Why don't we just go into the first topic of the night here? Because I think a lot of people are coming in for that one. So I brought this up last night, and I want to talk about it again. So Jupiter's Legacy's cancellation does prove to me that binge culture needs to end at Netflix. Now, the reason why I say this is because it's true. For one, that is very true. And the other reason too is that the show its cancellation was a bit of a shock for everybody involved, but they also didn't cancel the show. They just released the actors from the contract. That wording that popped up yesterday in this article over on The Hollywood Reporter really does go to tell you that they're not ready to walk away from this property yet, but they're simply putting a pin in this. And the reason why is because they spent all that money. I think it was like $100 million buying Miller World back in 2017, their first mainstream acquisition, that they don't want their first property that they purchased, their first company that they purchased, to have a failure under its belt. But the biggest issue with Jupiter's Legacy has a lot to do with the fact that they put out all 8 episodes at once and it was a slower burn. It also came out right around the same time that The Falcon and Winter Soldier had ended and Invincible had also ended, which means that there were 2 major shows that were week to week that were blowing up the ratings, that were blowing up the conversation. And here comes Jupiter Legacy, and it's all one and done in a weekend because, hey, if Netflix doesn't get these shows kind of, integrated into the ecosystem and there's not like a big blow up and a big conversation around it in the span of the first week, and in arguably probably the first weekend, then a lot of these people are going to, these shows are going to get canceled. Take, for example, Stranger Things season 3 that came out a couple of years ago. Season 4, they're saying is going to be done sometime this year. Obviously COVID kind of delayed a lot of it, but still they take their sweet ass time making the show. But they released an 8 episode season 3, which was a good season, July 4th weekend. And then by Monday, no one was talking about it anymore. Never mind that ending was wild. The whole never ending story bit was hysterical. The season was well put together, well acted, well done. But you had nothing really to discuss past that. Maybe 1 or 2 days of a water cooler moment at work post the holiday. But after that, it wasn't talked about. The only other time it started trending topically was when there was a Stranger Things 4 teaser that came out. Look at The Witcher. The Witcher came out week to week. Not week to week, it blew up, and it blew up well. That was a bit of a misnomer, okay? It blew up and it started pushing sales and everything else as people found it. But there was a lot of solid word of mouth that brought people to that. And it did quite well. But I still think that Witcher would have been better as going week to week. When you talk about, like, let's say, The Boys and Invincible, the way Amazon does it, I think, is perfect. Because I'm not saying do every episode week to week. You have to give people a little bit of a tease up front. You have to give them a little bit more in the beginning, right? You have to kind of give them a taste. So you drop 3 episodes. People can binge that in a night or binge that in a weekend. Then you go week to week after that. So what you do is you establish the hook. You establish the first couple episodes. They're into it. And then after that, the people who want to come back will come back. In the case of Invincible, it was good because it ended up coming after Falcon and Winter Soldier, and it had a buildup week to week of people going, oh my God, are you watching the show? It's amazing. I didn't catch Invincible until right during the last week, but I was watching the online conversation and it was building and piquing my interest consistently. People were blowing me up. Have you watched Invincible yet? No, I haven't. You got to watch Invincible. All right, fine. Okay, it looks okay, but like whatever. And then I sat down and I watched it and I was hooked on it and I watched through it all. And then I got to the very end, the same night that the season finale premiered. But I want to go back in time a little bit. I want to touch upon another little factor here and why binging only works when it's older shows leading into a show that's currently airing week to week. And I have a perfect example of that, but it requires us to go back nearly a decade. And I mean this, nearly a decade. Labor Day weekend, 2011. Now, you might not have any recollection of that weekend, but I do, because I had food poisoning and I was binging Netflix all weekend long. On that weekend, that is when AMC worked the deal with Netflix to bring over the first 4 seasons of Mad Men and the first 3 seasons of Breaking Bad. Now, at the time, Breaking Bad and Mad Men had their dedicated audiences, but neither one had blown up into the public conversation. Neither one had really broached any of that yet. It was nowhere near as popular as it was, but it became popular over the span of the next couple of weeks. Here's why, especially Breaking Bad. Mad Men was already on a season finale at that point in time. It was on a break, but Breaking Bad was currently airing its 4th season. It was around halfway through its 4th season when those shows dropped on Netflix, all of a sudden, everyone was binging Breaking Bad. They'd heard about it. They'd heard people talk about it maybe, but they hadn't sat down to really dive in. Now they had 3 seasons to consume all at once. They were able to get through the first 6 episodes, which, let's be fair, those were kind of like hard to get through. Not that they're bad, they're great, but like just substance wise, and it's just like dark and it's dreary, and it's just the way that it was shot was very, mute on the colors, and it was nowhere near as good as it ended up being. And they ended up kind of shifting the gears into season 2 when they got a little bit more kind of, I don't want to say actiony, but they played up a bit more of the Heisenberg angle. But anyway, people got through the first 6 episodes. They were hooked. Made it through season 2, made it into season 3. We met Gus Fring. We met, Los Pollos Hermanos. We met all that stuff. And then all of a sudden they're able to then go over to AMC TV and binge the first half of season 4. And then as we start leading into the finale of season 4, and we all know, if you've seen the show, you all know that finale. By the time that finale aired, Breaking Bad had now blown up in the ratings because people had watched the first 3 seasons on Netflix and were now hooked on the week-to-week release model. And they were talking about it every week, and they were binging about it every week, and they were getting into it, and they wanted more. And then when we got that Don Salamanca ending with Gus, that excellent, perfect ding, ding, ding ending of that show, for that episode, that season, people were desperate for more, which is why they broke up season 5 into 2 parts, because the popularity was there. It had entered into the public conversation, and it remained to the point of where I'm hearing, I haven't seen Better Call Saul. It's just been off my radar, but I'm hearing that Better Call Saul is as good as Breaking Bad, if not better in some aspects. And I need to watch it. And by the way, El Camino was an excellent movie. I loved El Camino. It was a perfect epilogue to the series. I loved it. But that again is the whole point. You can use Binge to slingshot a show to stardom. You can use Binge as a way to slingshot the conversation. Netflix understands their viewer data. Let's be fair. This is only my personal opinion on this. They understand their user data. They get all of that stuff. They have all the internal metrics, and it's entirely possible that Jupiter's Legacy didn't do as well as they wanted it to. But the show itself also was expensive, $200 million. Reshoots, the showrunner exiting out during the first half of production. It was just, and what people have said about it just on a narrative level, it didn't work out. Now, I've also said this too on Twitter today, that they should have changed the name because of Jupiter Ascending. We did touch upon that last night. But the idea here is that Netflix understands that people want the week to week. They understand that. And they're doing a massive disservice by not tying into that, at least partially. Because the conversation for a lot of these shows ends up going away super quick. Because it's not that the shows are lower quality. A lot of the stuff is actually really good. But what it is unless it has some kind of outward controversy, it doesn't end up getting talked about. Things end up falling by the wayside. And that is a problem, because they are actually doing more damage to themselves as it goes on. But I do also believe that Netflix is stuck. I think that Netflix is stuck. I think that they are, they know what they have, and they're right now just trying to keep ahead of the competition. But the competition is Disney. The competition is Amazon. The competition is Hulu, which is also essentially Disney. Look at Mandalorian. Week-to-week release. Ever getting more popular. WandaVision, The Falcon and Winter Soldier, week-to-week releases. By the end of their runs, most popular shows in the world. I expect Loki, when it drops next week, to continue in that same trend. It's expanding out the content, building up the world, building out the lore, and allowing people to come in at a pace that is recognizable to them and to continue the conversation. That's the biggest problem that Netflix has, is too much pump and dump. Nothing ever continues the conversation. All it ever does is it just is a flash in the pan. And that business model might have worked a decade ago, but we're not in that same space anymore. More and more people are cutting down on cable. They're not getting cable television. They're just going streaming only. The pandemic showed that there's a lot of content people were watching and they were dumping it out there because there was a mass demand for it. But there's nothing wrong with getting people to slow down and to build into some of these shows, especially if they're going to be putting up these hundreds of $millions of investment into them. Fox practically killed any and all trustability in their network in the early 2000s because they canceled everything that didn't glow exceptionally. Netflix is now becoming Fox. They are now becoming Fox, and they vowed to be different. And they are becoming what they vowed to be different from. And that is a problem. And I think one of the problems there is that they are just so widespread, or they're spread so thin, that they're not able to actually end up really building what they want to build because they had such a rapid growth. But now we're past that. They've got nearly 200 million subscribers. Disney is on track to pass them in the next couple of years, which means they are going to need to either increase the budgets for what they spend, which means it's going to eventually trickle down to the consumers. As we already know, Netflix is getting up there in price. But if the content doesn't match the desire, or if the content doesn't match with what other people are doing, it's going to come across as lazy. And if they don't build up solid fan bases, because they have some shows that have very solid fan bases, by the way, so I don't want to disparage anyone from thinking that. But this would be the time to really dig in and build those franchises up. I wonder if they're going to listen, because it seems like a lot of people now that are looking at this and they're shifting the tide. But of course, I do want to hear what you guys have to say about this. Okay. H-Bart's here, $5. Thank you, sir. Says, I waited for Vikings to end and binged all seasons on Prime. Well, you can do that too. You can do that too, and that's fine. It's there for people who want to do that. You're going to be able to binge at the end of it, but still the people who are watching week to week and keeping the conversation going. Ryan Hartwell here says, week-to-week releases have been used since inception of television itself, which it makes sense. There are a couple things out there that if it's not broke, don't fix it. Resident Justice here says, Disney Plus is kicking Netflix's ass with their week-to-week shows and discussions. The staying power of Star Wars and Marvel shows have been insane. Forward momentum. And I don't think there should be any reason why Jupiter's Legacy or other things that they put out couldn't have the same impact, couldn't stay trending every week. It comes across as backwards feeling. Now, You Do Suck brings it up. Brings up a very interesting point here. It says, does Netflix fear a backlash if they go week to week? Now, that is a very good point. And the reality of it is absolutely. Because they had floated the idea a while back of putting advertisements in front of their shows, a la HBO, to put out there for more promotion, right? Like, you like this show, maybe you'll like this 30-second advert for another show that might be right up your alley. Personally, I have no issue with that if they give me the option to skip it. But people lost their mind over it. People absolutely lost their mind over just a suggestion. Do you remember when Netflix went from the 5-star model down to the to the thumbs up or thumbs down? People lost their mind over that too. I think it's a more efficient system. I do. I think it's a more efficient system at this point in time because people don't want to sit there and think about, do I want to watch a 3-star movie or do I want to watch a 4-star movie? That's too much for people to process on, because also, by the way, the Netflix, what's the term, right? What's the term for the endless scrolling that they do, right? There's a bunch of endless scrolling. It's just the Netflix fatigue, the scrolling fatigue of trying to find the right thing to watch. And it's because there's so much content and they don't promote practically any of it that you're left waiting for somebody to tell you either something to watch or you're going to hear about it somewhere. But at the end of the day, you're still scrolling through Netflix. They did the top 10. By the way, Jupiter's Legacy has been in the top 10 of television since it came out over a month ago. Still canceled it. Just to give you guys an idea on that one. So there's a lot there that Netflix needs to do. Now, Roosevelt here does bring up a good point. He says Netflix should split the season in half, just like Lucifer. Now, that is also a good idea. Again, if you're going to do anything, split it in half is one thing, but break it the hell up. Look at Lucifer, by the way. So they did seasons 5A, seasons 5B. 5B now has come out, and that is now the series finale. Well, I've heard there's been talks about there being more. But the reality of it is this, is that was trending all weekend. People were building up anticipation for this because they were getting more and they were getting it more frequently. You have to build a habit with fans to get them to come back and watch your show weekly. You just do. Pumping it out there at once and hoping to God that people get with it. It just doesn't work anymore because they already have the library to back it all up. But now they have to be smarter and more strategic with that library. So that's the way I see that. Okay. Oh, the mic went out for a second. Son of a bitch. Son of a bitch. All right. Real quick here. Let's see here. Simon section, $10, man. Thank you. Says, hey, Matt, the conversation you had yesterday regarding Disney Star Wars Space Cruise made my nips hard. You think that Disney will allow a single guy discount on the cruise? I don't think so. My understanding of how it's going to work is like the rooms are going to cost a very certain amount. I'm hearing like $3,600. So I have talked to other YouTubers who are also Star Wars fans we floated the idea of all of us kind of pooling our cash and all going out to Orlando, like when it opens, and sharing a room and doing that in order to make sure that, like, for one, we can get content, two, a little bit of a vacation, but, you know, and three, and to experience it like in a way that's going to be affordable. Because looking at Avengers Campus and the cost of everything to get into Disneyland now, it's like, holy crap, man. So yeah, I know. I can't wait for more info on Galactic Star Cruiser. Anyway, thank you very much, man, for that one. Okay. There's a few more super chats. All right. Thank you. I'm going to go back. Okay. All right. Let's see here. H Bart's here at $5 says, looking forward to Loki. Falcon and Winter Soldier was okay. I mean, yeah, I get you, man. Like, you know, like, I liked Falcon and Winter Soldier quite a bit. I'm looking forward to all that stuff. All right. Let's see here. Can the canceled Marvel Netflix shows come to Hulu now? Well, Rational, it's been, yeah, actually they can. It's been 2 years. So, I mean, in the fall of 2020, Iron Fist, Luke Cage, Daredevil would all be allowed to go over to anywhere else they want to go. And then it was like, what, January and March of 2019 was Punisher and Jessica Jones. And now it's been 2 years. Yeah, they're free. They can go where they want. Hopefully Kevin Feige will utilize them. I don't quite know. I am hoping. Let me just kind of make sure I go back. Okay. I just want to make sure I did miss some super chats here. Jacob here says here, Superman and Lois is better than Jupiter's Legacy. That's cool. I've heard nothing but good things about Superman and Lois. I haven't watched it yet. But again, week-to-week model helps out. It does. They put the first, 5 episodes on HBOMax for a while to allow people to binge who hasn't seen it. And then now it's back on a week-to-week basis. Right? It's something to consider that they're doing that. H Barts here says it should have been a sequel to Jupiter Ascending. That is, no, man, that's a bad call, buddy. That's a bad call. We don't need a sequel to Jupiter Ascending. Okay. That movie exists. And then that's that. All right. And then Resident Justice here, $5. Thank you, man. Says thoughts on Grace Randolph's video on legacy cancellation. She pointed out how Snyder fans went after Mark Millar due to his BVS Twitter hate. Gun next. Okay, so I will fully admit part of this conversation is influenced by what Grace had said, because I did listen to that video tonight, and I think she makes some really good points. And then she gets into the back half of that video where she just goes into like pure speculation mode, and it's like, all right, whatever, Grace. Like at that point, you're like, stop talking. But when it comes to Mark Millar and then the tweet about BVS, you know what? Some people they've gotten pissy over it, right? Because he made a crack about Harambe. It's like, oh, a gorilla was shot, but the people who made BVS are allowed to walk free. That was also like in May of 2016. That was like a full month before people saw the Ultimate Edition. So at that point in time, like the theatrical sucks. Let's be fair. No one here is going to defend the theatrical version of BVS, right? No one here is going to defend the theatrical version. But this was before we saw the Ultimate Edition, which was miles and miles and miles better than the theatrical. So he made a joke. That's it. And no, there's people out there. Look, the thing is, it's kind of like, you know what? I don't know. I think there's some people in the fandom that are so just like devoted to being like dicks to anyone who's ever criticized Zach that it's insane. And I will say that Grace did make an interesting point about that, where she was like, look, some people start kind of tweeting out negative things and they're getting likes and they're getting retweets. And so that kind of promotes other people to go and do that. And she was right. She's 100% right on that one. But let me just also kind of go back on that too, because my eyes were rolling when she was saying that. Like they almost popped out of my head. They were rolling so hard. But Grace, Grace has gone out there and she has criticized, Pedro Pascal and Henry Cavill, and she goes after Jessica Chastain, and she spreads a lot of negativity as well. And so her to come out and make that comment without being in any way self-reflective, I thought was kind of very stupid and very hypocritical. But again, she did in fact make a decent enough point. That being said, though, you know what? People need to back off Mark Miller, man. The guy, you know what? Like, screw it. You know what? Kick-Ass, Wanted, Kingsman, those are all great movies. Those are all great movies. And the guy, you know what? He's got a lot of interesting things. If you notice, what I think here, going back to the Jupiter's Legacy thing real quick, it has a lot to do with the fact that there was that no kill code, right? And that was apparently a big complaint that a lot of people had. So I think what it really boils down to is what you've got is a lot of people who, and this is why he said we're going to focus on doing the villains, the super criminal show, or super crooks, whatever it's called. I think super criminals. They're doing super criminals because the villains are more interesting than the heroes. That is the whole point of having a superhero. You have your hero, your Boy Scout, your morally, proud person, very, not a morally ambiguous person, but a very, very strong morals. I don't do this. I don't do that. I don't do this. I don't do that. And then it's like, that's boring because they're predictable. It's boring because they're predictable. So you have to have a good heel for the hero, right? Think of it like think of it like wrestling. I'm not even a wrestling fan, but that analogy holds. So you focus on the villains because the villains are interesting. Why is it that a movie about a mentally ill clown becoming Joker, a $1.16 billion movie, when you've got something like Ant-Man, which is a fun movie, only doing half that money? It's because people like to watch bad guys. People are more interested in the villain. If your villain is good, everyone else will come following. And so that's kind of the issue here. Anyway. All right. Anyway, let me just kind of dive over here. And let's see. Grace still believes that Marvel is undercutting DC on purpose. Yeah. Wait, Mark Millar is holding back Matthew Vaughn's directing career? I mean, at this point in time, Matthew Vaughn is the one who is pushing Kingsman. Let's be fair. Matthew Vaughn is the one who's pushing Kingsman. He's the one who wants to do the third film. He's the one that did the prequel, and he's the one that wants to do the TV show. It's more about Matthew Vaughn wanting this than anything else. All right. So I don't know. That doesn't work. That doesn't work. Just use OBS. Yeah, I might need to just go over to OBS for a couple nights. Anyway, all right, let's go into the next thing here. This is what's going on right now, according to MovieWeb. There was an article I'm going to bring up. According to them, apparently, we are going to be getting another Wedding Crashers movie. And keep in mind, it's been 16 years this July since Wedding Crashers came out. 16 years since the first movie. Do we really need a sequel? Do we really need a 50-year-old Vince Vaughn and a 50-year-old Owen Wilson hitting on like some 20-year-olds while faking their way into weddings? I don't know. But this is what it's saying here. The news comes from a newly revealed production listing. It states that Owen Wilson, Vince Vaughn, Isla Fisher, and Rachel McAdams are on board to return for Wedding Crashers 2. Additionally, the original director, David Dobkin, will be back. And Evan Susser, who wrote Fist Fight and Brooklyn Nine-Nine, is said to have penned the screenplay. Per the listing, production is set to take place this August in Puerto Rico, and it remains unclear if Christopher Walken or Jane Seymour will return as well, though they both have expressed interest in doing so. And let's not forget Will Ferrell as Chaz, the original Wedding Crasher. That is true. It's like fishing with dynamite. It's not even fair. Mom, Mom, the meatloaf, Mom. God, what is she doing? I don't even know what she's doing in there. Yeah, he was great. I love Will Ferrell as Chaz in that movie. So apparently, they're getting. It says here plot details are currently under wraps. We all, and we know the original thing. Now he said here, now David Dobkin, the director, did say that he had previously said that the story would be weird and challenging while explaining that the story might center around John and Jeremy becoming single again in their 40s. Owen Wilson and Vince Vaughn have discussed the possibility of returning for a sequel several times over the years, with those discussions seemingly getting more serious over the past couple of years. Now it appears the stars have finally aligned. If you want my honest opinion on this one, I think Owen kind of hang up. I mean, Vince Vaughn has downs and he kind of needs a win. Owen Wilson just went away for a number of years. And I had read, and I don't know if this is, someone could correct me if I'm wrong, but I'd read somewhere that like he was dating Kate Hudson for a while and like she dumped him or cheated on him. And like, apparently he went like suicidal for a bit. And now he's just kind of coming back, And so, I mean, like I'm a big Owen Wilson fan. I have been for a very long time. And, ever since I think like Meet the Fockers or no, Meet the Parents really was, no. Cable Guy was the first time I ever saw him in a movie. Cable Guy. And that's where kind of him and Ben Stiller met, I think, or they were friends, or that's kind of where the partnership grew from. And I've always been a big fan of those two teaming up and everything else. And I've always just loved Owen Wilson. So if he was going through a tough time mentally, like I want to see him come back. And if this is what they want to do, I actually support it. Now it did say here that Wedding Crashers was produced for $40 million and it earned a $288 million return at the global box office. And they probably did pretty well on home video as well. So with any luck, we will actually get another Wedding Crashers. I mean, I kind of want to hear your guys' thoughts on this one. So now, let's see here. Nova Joe says, I'm happy Owen is in Loki. Me too. Like I said before, I really want there to be Tom Hiddleston doing an Owen Wilson impersonation. I think that would be fantastic. Roosevelt here says he tried to commit suicide. Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing. So, did the mic group out again? Oh my God, this is a terrible episode. I'm so sorry, guys. I don't know what the hell's going on here. So anyway, that was 14 years ago on that suicide. Oh, it was 14 years ago? Okay. Well, he's his career's kind of gone down for a while, Like, where has he really been in the last 14 years? Because that would be 2007. And it's like, oh, and he's done a couple things here and there, but it hasn't really been that much. But Geeks here says Wedding Crashers should be a standalone. I do agree. Like, I mean, I'll watch the sequel because why not, but it's one of those things where it's like, how do you, the first movie is so almost infinitely quotable in a number of ways to where it makes it very difficult to kind of come in and think, yeah, this would, let's see where it goes. I don't quite know. Now Simon here says, I would rather see another Tropic Thunder movie or spinoff. Oh, dude. Hell yeah. 100%. I had a super chat that I missed. Oh, okay. Thank you. Hold on here. I missed this one here. Help me, Matt. Enosh just walked into my job with a Kermit puppet. I told you he would find it. He knew where you lived. I told you, man. You got to watch out for that Enosh. He's pesky. And I hope you're okay. Did you give him a slushie? Damn Suicide Attempt via Drillbit Taylor too. I liked Drillbit Taylor quite a bit, actually. That was a fun movie. That was a funny film. Arif here says, I love Owen along with Jackie Chan in Shanghai Noon and Nights. Yeah, where's I could go for another Shanghai movie. Jackie Chan is getting up there, but he's still doing some stuff and they could do something. They could really kind of have fun with it to give us a trilogy because Shanghai Nights was really good. All right. Let's see here. I would kill to see Tropic Thunder 2. Hell yeah, dude. Me too. Hell yeah. He had Midnight in Paris. What is that, a Woody Allen movie? I'm just saying, it's like let me look up his IMDb here. Okay. Owen Wilson IMDb. You know what's weird is he's actually the older brother, which to Luke. I thought he was the younger one. But he's not. He's actually the older one. So, okay. Oh, apparently, according to IMDb, Shanghai Dawn has been announced, and he's playing Roy O'Bannon, although there's no real information of that one. He's going to be in a movie called Secret Headquarters. I don't know what that is. A movie called Paint. He's in the new, was it Wes Anderson movie, French Dispatch? All right. I mean, apparently he voiced Lightning McQueen in the Lego The Incredibles video game. And he did a bunch of Tales from Radiator Springs and a couple little things here and there. I mean, yeah, really like he hasn't done much. You know, it hasn't done a lot. He's kind of done here and there sort of things, but like it's not as much as he was doing in the beginning. You know, like, I mean, remember like when he came out and he did, what was it? Oh my God, what one was it? It was Behind Enemy Lines in 2001. That was a good movie. That was a solid film. I like that one quite a bit. And he did a bunch of fun movies. And I mean, where's another Starsky and Hutch? Give me another Starsky and Hutch, man. Opinion on the Spider-Man Lotus film. What is Spider-Man Lotus? What is this one? What is Spider-Man Lotus? Okay, let's see here. Following the death of his former girlfriend, seemingly caused by his own attempt to save her, Peter Parker. Wait, what? What the fuck? Okay, hold on here. Following the death, hold on. I'm just going to bring this up on screen because, like, seriously, what the hell is this? I don't know. Hold on. What is this movie? Let me go into this. Okay. So this is Spider-Man Lotus. What the fuck is this shit? All right. Following the tragic death of his former girlfriend, seemingly caused by his own attempt to save her, Peter Parker lingers in his guilt of the past, questioning whether the curse of his alter ego should be buried for good. When he's met by the news that a terminally ill child has requested to meet Spider-Man, Peter contemplates the decision to comfort him in his final days. Is this a fan film? This has got to be an effing fan film, man. There's like no way that, like, this has got to be a fan film, right? Is this a fan film? That's not the animated Spider-Man movie. So, is there another $10? No, I got to the $10 super chat from Simon. No, I got that one from Simon. I did. Thank you though for pointing it out. But yeah, I got it. Yeah, I mean, what is this? Hold on for. We're not talking. This is something that's on IMDb, man, and we're not talking about Zack Snyder. So shut the fuck up. All right, hold on here. What, like, who? Okay. You've got Sean White. Okay, this has got to be. Yeah, like this is a guy playing Harry Osborn in this thing. This has got to be. It's a fan film. That's all it is. It's a fan film. Okay. I mean, like that just kind of makes sense. Okay, because I'm like, what the hell? Because here's Warden Wayne. This is a guy playing Peter Parker. I mean, this is flat out like a, I do low budget movies and I'm trying to make my way. Yeah, they're doing a fan film okay. Where did you hear about this? Like, where is this being talked about? That's my question here. Well, okay, what exactly is? I want to see here. What is Gavin? The director. What has he done? Because I don't know who the fuck this guy is. Gavin J. Cunnop. He's a director known for Spider-Man Lotus and Alistair's. What is Alistair's? It's a 2021, I'm assuming another short film. Oh, it's a TV series. It's a talk show. Interviewing entertainers big and small around the world who all deserve the title of being an Alistair. Hey. I mean, look here. Interview with YouTuber Chainsaw Reacts. Interview with MTV star Wes Bergman. Okay, this is all just Jesus Christ. Wow, Bronx, what the, oh my God, dude. You know, I unblocked you and you come back and you say that crap. That is terrible, man. That is terrible. Okay, H. Parts here says Owen Wilson is the next big action star. Yeah, there we go. That's how this. Yeah, there we go. All right, hold on. We'll and then I saw the other one here, but my God, man. Okay. Here I'll just. Oh Jesus Christ. H bar's $50, dude. Thank you. Says talk about Zach, Matt, or else. Oh, okay, man, you the boss. So Zack Snyder is a filmmaker and a visual director, and he's done films like Dawn of the Dead and Watchmen and 300 and Sucker Punch, and that's it. He's never once made a DC film outside of 300 and Watchmen. He's never once gone into the no. He's never done anything like that. Oh man. Oh, jeez. Thank you very much. And I will always H part here. Is the captain now. There we go. Who is the H behind who is the Bart's behind the H? Clearly Nancy Cartwright. That's who it is. That's who it is. But thank you so much, Matt. Thank you very much. Okay, so let's talk about this. This Bond writer is against the Amazon acquisition, claiming here that it will turn 007 into an MCU-style franchise. First and foremost, is that really a bad thing? That's an honest question. Is that really a bad thing? Bond has a very interesting and very expansive lore surrounding it. There are lots of villains. There are lots of side characters. There are very well-beloved side characters like Q, Moneypenny, Felix Leiter, M. There are other characters that could end up popping up and doing something and kind of really expanding upon this world. You could do an entire Spectre series where Bond is trying to stop Spectre and teaming up with other agents and other Bond girls and doing very crazy over-the-top things that Bond is known for. The Ian Fleming books kind of act as a bit of a universe in and of themselves. So I find this to be a very interesting take. I do. I find it to be kind of a very interesting take because there's a whole bunch of stories there. It's kind of weird for me. But anyway, let's find out more. Following Amazon's recent multi-billion-dollar purchase of MGM, fans have been left wondering what the company will do with some of the studio's hugely recognizable franchises, like Bond. Well, one of the writers behind Spectre and the critically acclaimed Skyfall, John Logan, has some concerns, saying here that MGM, as a family business that has been carefully nurtured and shepherded through the changing times, and he highlighted the importance of Barbara Broccoli and Michael Wilson. He feels reassured that they will still have creative control over the property. Logan is not sure that will be the case for too long, saying this: what happens if a bruising corporation like Amazon begins to demand a voice in the process? What happens to the camaraderie and quality control if there's an Amazonian overlord with the analytics parsing every decision? What happens when a focus group reports they don't like Bond drinking martinis or killing quite so many people? And the English accent is a bit alienating. So we could have more Americans in the story for marketability. Now, I will say that John here makes an interesting point. When it comes to what feels to be kind of movies designed by committee and everything that is made for merchandising and marketability and accessibility, never mind the emerging societal changes that we have in regards to how women are treated on screen, how women are depicted on screen, and how Bond himself can't be as much of a womanizer anymore. I'm just going to be honest here and say no one is going to push for that because Bond is old school. There are a lot of movies of Bond, and while he has slightly changed over the years, the core tenets have remained the absolute same. I don't think that's going to be a problem. Amazon wants to make money. If the boys in season 2 can have a guy whose superpower is an ever elongating dong, which by the way, I thought of first back in like 2004, the character I wrote named Erecto in this stupid comic book take I was working on. Anyway, if they have that and they showed that in the show and they have the subway scene from Invincible, do you really think they're going to give a shit about about having that kind of creative control. They're not going to want to sit there and micromanage everything. They might want to expand upon it. Now, he says here, he goes on to say that Bond is allowed to provoke, grow, and be idiosyncratic. Long may that continue. James Bond has survived the Cold War, Goldfinger, Jaws, Disco, and Ernst Stavro Blofeld several times. And I can only hope that the powers that be at Amazon recognize the uniqueness of what they just acquired and allow and encourage this special family business to continue unobstructed. Look, if they've got final say on it, then they're not going to give it up. And eventually Barbara Broccoli and Michael Wilson are going to retire and step down. Eventually it's going to go into new hands. They're going to have to be the ones that are going to have to find the right people to shepherd it all in. You know, and they've kept the franchise focused, you know, and anyway, he does go on to say here that in the context of a larger company, Amazon Prime Video is not chiefly about artists. It's about attracting and retaining customers. When bigger companies start having a say in iconic characters and franchises, the companies tend to want more, not better, and the quality differential can vary wildly project to project. And again, he has a very distinct point there. But let's think for a second. Let's compare this. All right, we've got over 20 films, I think 25 films. This will be the upcoming 25th film in the James Bond franchise since the late 1960s. The Broccoli family has been involved since the beginning. Barbara Broccoli has basically been there for the entire run. And they've seen it rise and fall with the times, and they've been overall successful. You know, the franchise has grossed a buttload of money over the span of its lifespan. Now, you've had the same people in charge. Now look at the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Disney, arguably the biggest entertainment company in the world, bought Marvel for $4 billion, put Feige at the top, let Feige do his thing, trusted Feige to do his thing, and it's brought untold wealth to the company. It's brought untold success and money. But you know, I think, look, in the general case of Feige handling everything, I think he's done well for having the plan and Disney trusting him to have a plan. Amazon is not going to interfere with Bond because they don't have a reason to if it's still producing the quality. If they want to expand upon it, then the Broccoli family is going to have to figure out a way to probably make that work. And if not, that's on them. But at the end of the day, Amazon it only has the distribution. And you know what? That could shut the Bond franchise down for good. But I mean, I don't think that's going to happen. They're in the business of making money. They're going to want to tell stories. So there's that. Anyway, thank you very much, HParts. Let me just, you know, I had other things to talk about. I'm just not going to, given how bad everything is right now. So I'll talk to you guys for a few minutes. We'll probably wrap it up in the next like 5-10 minutes, something like that. HBarts here does say Bart's Buck Theater. Yeah, at this point, you've kind of bought that. Yeah. HBarts is $3 Theater's manager. Kind of. All right. I know. Matt throws headsets like Campia. No, I don't throw any headsets because the headsets cost money. Warner Brothers is trying to silence Star, but no, it's just, I don't know what's going on here, guys. It's just super weird. Tony asking the question, what was your first Bond film? My first Bond film that I remember seeing in theaters was GoldenEye because I came out in 96 when I was 14. Other than that, like, I didn't see, I'm pretty sure I saw like Dr. No and Goldfinger when I was a kid. I watched a bunch of of Connery and, probably Thunderball and Moonraker as well. I watched some of the more films. I don't even know if I've seen all the Bond movies because I remember watching a bunch as a kid, but it's been a while. So I have to go back and watch them again. But if they're all going to be on, Amazon, then I'm just going to watch them on there. But yeah, I mean, I love Bond, I love Bond. I do. And I just want to see it continue, but I also have no problem with it expanding. I mean, if you go back and you read Casino Royale, like the book, because I've read the book is very dry. It's good, but it's very dry. In the book, she commits suicide. She poisons herself because she was leading Bond on effectively. and everything else. And so like, you know, they had to kind of spruce it up for the movie. But yeah, it was good. I like Bond. Let's see. HBOMax says here, I own $3 Theater and have a majority stake in Poindexter Lounge. You may want to sell off the Poindexter Lounge. Just saying. Anyway. Cosmic here says Pierce Brosnan was the best. I did love Pierce Brosnan quite a bit. I did. All right. Rational says here, since you worked at a theater, what popcorn is better, Pop Secret or Red Blocker? Or Redenbacher? I prefer Redenbacher, to be honest with you, but I mean, the popcorn you get at theaters is like, they get flavor call seasoning, and then they get generally like canola oil, and that's what they make it with. Butter at movie theaters is not butter. It is an oil that is kind of butter flavored, and it's a couple molecules like away from plastic. Essentially, it's really not good for you. If you want to have a better popcorn eating experience at the theater, get jalapenos and throw jalapenos on there, or bring in some peanut M&Ms, and you get a salty sweet treat with that, and that's really good. But for me personally, my favorite is I like air popped popcorn. I like air popped popcorn with either crushed red peppers, Parmesan, or pepper, just straight black pepper. And the reason why I like black pepper is because spices actually kind of like jumpstart your metabolism. And so when you get popcorn, it's full of a lot of salt and sodium, so it dries you out. And so if you just put like a pepper on air popped popcorn, it actually there's no sodium in it, or very little sodium in it, so it doesn't dry you out as much, and you get a spicy popcorn. And I think it's just a lot better. So I like popcorn quite a bit. I like popcorn quite a bit. Let's see. Vaughn here says Roger Moore, The Spy Who Loved Me, was the first movie. That's awesome. Ryan here says my dad's favorite Bond film was Goldfinger. Goldfinger was great. Bond will be like every Jack Ryan series. Well, isn't Bond already kind of like every Jack Ryan series? Because we've had The Hunt for Red October with Alec Baldwin as Jack Ryan. And then you had, was it Patriot Games and Clear and Present Danger with Harrison Ford as Jack Ryan. And then we had Ben Affleck in The Sum of All Fears, which was an excellent movie, by the way. And then now we've got, we had Chris Pine as Jack Ryan. And then now we've got John Krasinski as Jack Ryan. So there's that. Rel here says, thank you for ruining my love for that fake buttery goodness. I'm just telling you the truth, man. Don't get me wrong. Like, you don't need to put butter on popcorn at theaters. That shit's like, what I hate is when people are like, can you layer this for me? And I'm like, yeah, let me pour out half the popcorn that I just filled the bag with. Dump in a buttload of this other stuff, and then put it back. If people were mean about layering the popcorn, I would empty out half the bag, and I would put the nozzle for the popcorn butter in the bag, so they could, and then I would fake pressing it so they couldn't see that I wasn't actually pressing it, and then I would put the popcorn back on top, and I would put a little bit of butter, so they would get a little bit of butter versus getting it layered like they want. Because F them. I was making like $6 an hour. F them. Lawrence Slugger says, quit exposing theaters. Dude, you don't even want to know, man. You don't even want to know what I could say about theater popcorn. Not my theaters, but other theaters, man. You'd be amazed at how often they reuse popcorn from the night before, by the way. Putting white cheddar on popcorn is great. I know I'm a sucker for smart popcorn and the white cheddar. That's my crack, dude. Over the summer when I went to go to the drive-in to go see Evil Dead and Army of Darkness, I bought one of those and ended up eating it during both movies. And I felt really bad, but that's not as bad as when I bought one of those big bags to take it to go watch Hellboy 2019. And I ate the whole bag while I was watching Hellboy. And I'm like, oh, I'm so fat. It's terrible. It's so terrible. I'm very much trying to not, to cut down. I've been intermittently fasting, although tonight I broke my fast a little bit because I didn't eat much during the day. But I've dropped 10 pounds so in the last 5 months. Not great, but I'm working on it. So, SNL did a bit about AMC. I know it's all I saw that. Vin Diesel, it's all about the movies. Min Min here says, I've always wanted to try popcorn with M&Ms. Well, what's stopping you? You should absolutely go and have popcorn with M&Ms. It's good. It's good stuff. Now Rational says here, is Thunderball canon or is Never Say Never Again canon? Both are bases on the same book with the same actor too. I thought Thunderball was more. Oh no, Thunderball would have been. Hold on, Never Say Never Again. What is that more based off of? Oh, okay. Yeah, that's weird, man. Why did they remake Thunderball? Like, why would I don't get that. Why would they remake Thunderball to do Never Say Never Again? I don't. Is there a story behind that? I honest to God don't know the story. So okay, I guess I you know what? I'm gonna need to do some research into this because there's a lot there. I have the Wikipedia page up here. But if you guys know, let me know. Yeah, and Tony is right. Thunderball is canon. Never Say Never Again is not canon. That is true. So, another producer had the rights to do the Thunderball novel. Oh, okay. Yeah, man, that's like so weird. I remember watching Never Say Never Again and like, oh, it's a Bond movie, and then later on finding out that it really wasn't. Okay. Okay, so Music Man here says also they remade it because one producer had the rights to the book and the ego was involved. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. You know. Oh, his wife says that slogan? Okay. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot there with that one. I always thought it was a remake of like a Moore movie or something. I guess I just didn't know the story of it. I always thought it was like something else. But I'm learning, and that's good. I like to learn about these things. That's why I do this show. It's always good. Always a good time to do this kind of stuff. It came out the same summer as Octopussy. Oh, it did? Oh, that's funny. Who was in which one was Octopussy? Was that Moore or is that Dalton? Octopussy, which is still to me just like the funniest goddamn name. That was Roger Moore. Right. Okay. And that one came out in 1983. Wow. Had a budget of $27.5 million, did $187.5 million worldwide. My God. Was that Roger Moore's last Bond film? Was that the last one that he did? It was the sixth one directed with Roger Moore. Man, I miss Roger Moore. That always was sad that he passed away. Okay. Yeah, there's a lot, like it's always well, no, it's not Ion Productions, it's Everything or Nothing. So it's EON Productions. But yeah, you're right. Okay, A View to Kill was his last. Okay, A View to a Kill. Yeah. There's like so many Bond films, it's so easy to get them like mixed up and stuff. It's like that's the funniest thing about it is it's so easy to go like, well, like to look at it and go, who is this one? Who is this one? I mean, for me, from like GoldenEye onwards, like it's pretty solid because in the span of my adolescence to adulthood, there's only been the two. But the fact that that Daniel Craig has now played James Bond for 15 years and over 5 movies, I mean, that's a hell of a thing. That's a hell of a thing, which is why I think they're going to go back to a younger Bond for the next one. Brian here is like, I love Bond. I've seen them all. Yeah, no, definitely, man. Definitely, yeah. StreamYard seems to be working out. I guess so. I don't know what the hell's going on. I'm going to wrap it up, though, here in a minute, just because I want to go watch Bad Batch. Tonight is Bad Batch night. Let's see here. Funny thing is, Bond Casino Watch was used as an Easter egg in the Phantom Pain. Oh, really? That was a fun game. That's a very funny. I like the Phantom Pain. Never finished it because that's a weird movie to finish. But hey, listen, there's 44 of you guys in here right now. Do me a solid and hit that like. Help me out a little bit. All engagement is good engagement. But hopefully tomorrow, StreamYard will be a little bit better. I just don't want to push it tonight. Let's see here. Wow, Darkwing Duck's original name was 00 Duck. Oh, wow, that's cool. It is Bad Batch night. Get to see what hijinks Omega gets up to. Let's see. H Bart's here says, haven't watched any Bond film, waiting for the next one for collection. Dude, Dude, you gotta see the Bond movies, man. Like at least, I mean, okay. Here's the thing, guys. HBarts, here, pick what is your favorite. What is the one movie in your mind that HBarts should watch? The first Bond movie that to get him like hooked onto the franchise. Okay, and it can't be Her Majesty's Secret Service. All right, we're not going to bring Lazenby into this. Okay, let Lazenby, let Lazenby stay outside of the canon. Geeks here says Disney got sued by James Bond family for the Darkwing original name. Oh, really? Oh, wow. Darkwing Duck's a cooler name anyway, man. Like Darkwing Duck is the shit. I love Darkwing Duck. So, all right. A lot of, he says here that he's starting with Sean Connery. All right. And that could be like, Dr. No or Goldfinger or the man with the golden gun. That was good too. You know, there's a lot to get into with it. If I would like, I'll be honest with you, man. I would say I agree with you, Vaughn here. Right. The Daniel Craig saga would be probably like the most modern way of getting into it. Or I'll tell you this, the movie Kingsman, right? The 2015 movie Kingsman is a gentleman spy knockoff. It's a Bond knockoff movie. And Kingsman, The Golden Circle is more of a Roger Moore knockoff film. If you really think about it, they were kind of lampooning the Connery films with the first Kingsman. And then the second Kingsman was more about Roger Moore type films. So let's see. Midman here says, I haven't seen them either. Where do I see them? I don't know where they're streaming right now. I thought they were on Netflix for a while, but now they're going to be acquired by Netflix or by Amazon. So they should be on there sometime soon. Tony here's asking thoughts on Austin Powers. Dude, I love Austin Powers, man. I love Austin Powers. I remember going to see it like back in 96. Not really knowing what to expect out of it and just laughing my ass off all the way through. And then, of course, watching like, you know, The Spy Who Shagged Me and like Heather Graham. Oof. And then Goldmember was really good too. Goldmember was a fun one. I didn't really feel like Beyonce was like the best in it, but I liked Michael Caine. And of course, but the whole plot line of number 3 of like them being like twins separated at birth was kind of dumb. But the opening of Goldmember was fantastic when it had all those cameos like Tom Cruise and Steven Spielberg. Britney Spears, I think, popped up in it. And that was one too where I had just gotten my wisdom teeth taken out when Goldmember dropped. And so I went to see it at my work and I was like high on Vicodin. And I had stitches and I was laughing so hard that I could feel like the stitches stretch. I had all 4 wisdom teeth pulled out at once. So I was like monumentally doped up because it was so painful. And yeah, I like those movies. I'd love to see more of them. Let's see here. My babysitter introduced me to Austin Powers when I was a kid. There we go. Yeah, I agree with Neon Sci-Fi here. The storyline wise, start with Casino Royale. That's true. I mean, and that's if you're starting off with like this version of Bond. So H-Bars here says, I'm going to get the 4K set soon. I'm starting with Sean Connery due to being an old school movie. And yeah, I mean, no, if you're going to start with anyone, start with Connery. I mean, obviously I think people out there, they're going to clearly be with you on that one 100%. I also think though that, doing, cause I know you're a bit younger of a guy, but you at least have the appreciation for older films. So I would say start with Connery, but they're definitely a product of their time. They're fun movies, but they're a product of their time. And I would say you start with that, there's going to be some slow moments in it. It's a bit more out there. The Roger Moore 70s films were a bit more out there. Dalton in the 80s, a bit more grounded. Brosnan did a great job for those 4 films that he did. And then I think Craig's done a great job too. So, I mean, like you're never going to have a bad, I know. And there's also George Lazenby. You're never going to have a bad time with James Bond, like ever. So I think it's going to be okay. Let's see here. You can't believe that Mike Myers made out with Madonna and Beyonce. Well, man, hey, look, money talks. Money talks. Just go with Dr. No and see where it takes you. That's a good one. Yeah, Dr. No was the first one of the series. There we go. That is the advice from the people in the chat. But all right, guys, it is nearly midnight. I'm going to log off because I was going to be just messing around again. I'm going to go and watch some Bad Batch, and then try to get to bed at a decent hour this evening. I'll be on tomorrow night, probably. Hopefully, things will be working better. I can be on camera. And I'll talk to you guys all later. Have yourself a great evening. Thank you again for watching. Be sure to like the video. And if you want to become a channel member, you can do so. Link in the video description, and get your name up on this list here. Right? You want to be famous. You want to be immortalized as being a channel member. You can do that one. And then I'm also, another thing here real quick. I'm probably going to be posting it a little bit later. If anyone here has ever seen my Stranger Days series, I forgot to upload this one here, but I did finish tonight. I did a video on the mass grave found in Canada of 215 Indigenous children, talking about the history of that. And that should be up on the Matt Jarbo Talks channel, probably like later tonight. I'm just letting it kind of upload right now. And yeah, so that's something you guys may want to check out. It's an interesting story. It's really messed up. But that's the other part of what I like to do, is talk about crazy things like this giant of Kandahar. Weird stories you find on the internet, as well as talk to you guys. And don't worry, more Podio commentary is coming. That hasn't been forgotten. That is on its way as well. All right, everybody, have yourself a great night. Thank you again for tuning in, and we'll talk again.